Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to Boku no Hero Academia 154 or My Hero Academia 154, A Hope That Cannot Be Seen. Now this chapter was really good. I really enjoyed this chapter. A lot of people over Reddit, over Manga Stream were really hype about this chapter, and I enjoyed it too. I really liked it. It was a really solid chapter in terms of what we see from Chisaki, what we see from Deku, and what we see from Nighteye, but also the implementations and little things about this chapter which could result in some major shit going down. So let's talk about it. So first, I want to talk about Chisaki. Who's Overhaul, by the way. If you didn't know, his name is Chisaki. So I really enjoyed Chisaki or Overhaul versus Deku and Nighteye this chapter. It was really good. Deku realizes that he can't make direct contact with Overhaul, so he uses debris and rock and things like that to try and attack Chisaki, but he can't land any hits because Overhaul's arms are covering basically his entire back and his front as well. He's got like four of those new arms, and then I think he's got his two normal arms. I don't know. I think he's either got 4 or 6 arms, so he's covered almost everywhere. He doesn't really have a blind spot, so it's hard for Deku to try and attack him and not make physical contact with him, because if he does, he'll get disintegrated big time. Actually, I also want to talk about this now as well. Last chapter, I talked about what Overhaul could have gained from his fusion with Nemoto, and it looks like he has literally used Nemoto's parts to recover and improve. So I thought maybe if he's fused with Nemoto, he might gain his quirk. He might be able to utilize his subordinate's quirk. He might be able to do a whole bunch of other things. I've forgotten exactly what I said, but I thought he was going to take his quirk. And then I was saying it might have been a better idea to fuse with that Chrono guy. But it literally just looks like he has used Nemoto's parts to improve his own parts, in terms of his injuries have all healed, his fatigue has vanished, and he's gotten a little bit stronger and faster, and he's basically revitalized himself with Nemoto's parts. So he hasn't taken his quirk. He is a giant asshole, and he literally just like juiced out everything from Nemoto in terms of all his energy and stuff, used it on himself, and he's now free of injury, and he's full of vigor as well. His fatigue has vanished. So I was like, yo, this guy is a giant douche. He's such a big asswipe. He literally just killed Nemoto just to stay alive and to continue fighting. So I was like, yo, this guy he's a beast, and he's not a very good guy at all. I liked how Nighteye then took on his role as the master of Mirio and as the kind of master of Deku, I suppose, as well, because he's interning for him. So I like how he took on that role, and he fights Chisaki, and he orders Mirio and Deku to get Eri out of there. He's like, yo, you guys gotta get out. I'll hold him off. And then we see Mirio saying, I guess this is bumming me out after all. I was like, man, this is hurting me so much, like right in the feels, because Mirio, actually that comes on to the part where they find out that Mirio has actually lost his quirk in its entirety. It's been deleted. So Nighteye and Deku find out, and I think that's also affecting Mirio, because he realizes how that affects them, how depressed they are about it. So it affects him even more when he sees someone else's reaction, because it's like that in real life. Someone won't react to an injury or something like that too heavily until they see someone else react to it. And if someone starts screaming, then they're like, shit, this is really serious. So it's something like that. He just sees how they react, and he's like, yo, this is bumming me out after all. So that was hurting me in the feels. I was like, damn, son, this is so sad. So then the ending scene with Nighteye losing ground to Chisaki, and I'm like, yo, Nighteye, come on, man, because he was using those little weight impact dial things that he's got, and he's throwing them at Chisaki, and I think he blew off 2 of Chisaki's arms. I'm not actually sure what happened there, because it looked like Chisaki was going in for the shot, and then 2 of his arms got blown off, but you don't really see Nighteye throwing anything. There was like no motion being drawn anywhere, so that was a bit weird. But yeah, that was cool. But Chisaki obviously just uses the parts that were blown off, and he kind of reassembles them, as he has been doing anyway. And then we see Nighteye being pierced through his arm, which is basically been torn off, and through his abdomen. And in his desperation, Nighteye looks to the future to see if the boys and Eri got to safety, and Chisaki if he's been apprehended or defeated and apprehended. So he looks to the future to see if there's any hope, and all he sees is black, which is awesome. He was looking for some form of hope, and he found nothing, which is chilling, and it's not a good sign for any of them. This is the worst possible situation. If even Nighteye can't see a situation for them to get out, or if he can't see any hope, this is not a good situation for any of them. Also, Nighteye, he doesn't look like he's in the best of shape. He may not make it out of this alive. I think a lot of people have kind of grasped that. But there's also the issue of, in chapter 128, Deku says, "And so began my long internship under Nighteye." So he may yet live. If we're taking future Deku's words for it, there's a big chance that Nighteye is fine. He's gonna have some major injuries after this, and someone's gonna have to fix him up big time. Another issue this chapter brings up, and a big time one: Overhaul's cronies have kidnapped Eraserhead, Aizawa, our boy. And this could turn out really, really bad for the hero, seeing as Eraser is one of the main heroes that we've had so far. Maybe he's not one of the most powerful, but he is one of the most in terms of just being a really good support and main hero. He's one of the better heroes in terms of utilizing the pieces he has around him, or even if he doesn't have any pieces, just going balls to the wall, like we saw in his first fight against those Nemu characters or whatever they're, those Nomus, yeah. So he's just a really good character. Everyone likes him, and the fact that he's been kidnapped is a little bit disconcerting. And if they somehow manage to make utilize his quirk, people's quirks are gonna start dropping like flies, because they use Eri's quirk to destroy other people's quirks, as we've seen with Mirio now. But her quirk specifically her quirk specifically gets rid of quirks, whereas Aizawa's cancels them out for a bit. So that if they start doing stuff like that, they're gonna have major problems. The Hero Association is gonna have heroes are gonna have major issues dealing with villains if they have quirk canceling weaponry, and then especially if they've got quirk deleting weaponry on top of the quirk canceling weaponry. It's gonna be a whole mash of random shit going down. It's gonna be a mess. As I mentioned before, this could very well outturn to be a loss for both the heroes and the Yakuza. The League of Villains is still out there with both Toga and Twice, and they could take Eri, they could take Aizawa and start developing some lethal ass weaponry, like I said before. Or the League of Villains will save Izuku and Mirio and crew, and they'll take out Overhaul. Now that's where I'm thinking, because they have a big grudge against Overhaul for what he did to Magneton or some shit, you know, the League of Villains dude, chick. It might have been a chick. Yeah, so they have a huge grudge against him for that, but they also just didn't like him in general. They just hate him, and they really want to do him over. So I think the League of Villains will be essential in the next couple of chapters, in the next few chapters, but they're not going to be friendly in terms of, oh yeah, we got rid of Overhaul for you, you're all good. They're going to get rid of Overhaul, and then they're going to do something else on top. Maybe take Eri, maybe take Aizawa, we don't know, but it's going to be some crazy shit. And then the best part of the chapter, Izuku goes 20% full cowl from 8%. The last time his limit of using one for all, the last time we saw it was 8%. We've seen him go above and beyond that loads of times, but his control is what's key here. He's only able to control at 8%, and now he's jumped to 20% of one for all. And I was like, yo, this is gonna be dope, because he already says in this chapter that he's not gonna be able to hold this for very long, and he says it hurts like hell, his bones are creaking and stuff. And he also knows that he can't touch Chisaki unless he's fast enough to hit him and then pull out and not get touched. So this is gonna be dope. I mean, just the power we see when he utilizes 20% in this chapter. He stomps on the ground and kind of cancels out Chisaki's quirk, where like all these stalactites and shit pop out of the ground. I'm not sure if it's stalactites or stalagmites, but one of them, and that looked dope as shit. So I'm hoping this is gonna be a beast fight, and I'm hoping Izuku kind of just kicks ass from now on, because he is at 20% of one for all, which is quite high for Izuku considering he's jumped from 8%. So that's gonna be really hype, and everyone's really hyped about that. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys think of the whole Aizawa thing. Let me know what you guys think of Nighteye seeing black. I think it's because he can't see what he was looking for in the future, or maybe it's because his life runs out before that future comes into place or something like that. But like I said before, I doubt he's actually going to die because of what Deku says about him in chapter 128. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys in a couple hours when I release my Nanatsu no Taizai review.